back to Josh Does Math. In this video, we got an interesting limit right here with absolute value in it. We're going to try to figure out what the value of this limit is. So we have the limit as x approaches 0 of x squared over the absolute value of x. So this isn't your typical limit that you see that involves polynomials and factoring and stuff. Instead, we just need to kind of think through this one. So let's just try to solve it the way you'd solve any limit. Plugging in 0 for x, and we get 0 over 0, which we know is not the right answer because that's an indeterminate form. Doesn't tell us anything about the limit. So what do we do now? Well, normally you would try to cancel stuff out in the numerator and denominator, or multiply by the conjugate of some factor that's in the numerator or something like that. So we can't really do any of that here because there's no absolute value of x in the numerator and there's no x squared in the denominator. But here's what we can do. If you notice, x is squared right here, which means if x is positive, we're going to get x squared. If x is negative, we still get the magnitude of x squared. By the nature of the square up here, it doesn't matter whether x is positive or whether it's negative. We still just get the magnitude of x squared. So you could rewrite this limit as x goes to 0 of absolute value of x squared all over absolute value of x. And now we can easily cancel the absolute value of x that's in the numerator and denominator. So we get the limit as x goes to 0 of absolute value of x. So now you can plug in 0 right here. Just do direct substitution. You get 0 as your limit. But does this limit exist? In other words, does the limit from the left side equal the limit from the right side? Well, let's say we were to plug in 0 from the positive or 0 from the negative. We should get the same thing. We have to get the same thing in order for this limit to exist and be equal to 0. So what do you get whenever you plug in 0 from the positive into the absolute value here? Well, you get 0 from the positive, or just 0. Okay, what about 0 from the negative? Well, now you get 0 from the positive, which is just equal to 0. So since these two are the same right here, since the limit is the same whether you approach 0 from the positive or negative direction, well, we say that the limit exists at x is equal to 0. So since the limit exists at that point, x equals 0, well, we already solved for it and we found it's equal to 0. So this would be the answer to a problem like this. You would say the limit as x approaches 0 on x squared over the absolute value of x is equal to 0. Thanks for watching.